Hello there, it's Josh here from racingtoprofit.co.uk. I hope you're well. This very short video, and I do want it to be short, just takes a quick look at the practicalities of the number one advised strategy, the ratings pointers 10 to 1 or bigger approach, and really just to show you how to use Betfair if you're unfamiliar. I did have a few questions in terms of how to set the minimum odds and kind of how to place the bets and things. So hopefully for those of you who may still be unsure, this will be useful. So with the number one advised strategy, which is ratings pointers horses, those with the red symbol next to their name, either horse race base top rated, which is a H1 as you can see there, or horse race base top 3, effectively second or third rated, H3 as you can see there, and the same with G1, GG's top rated, GG Speed top rated, and G3, GG Speed top 3 rated. Now the idea, the number one strategy is to back those when 10 to 1 or bigger, and there's kind of a twin approach to backing those. That isn't 10 to 1 or bigger starting price. It is 10 to 1 or bigger at a time you look. I know some of you will look the evening before, and if a horse is 10 to 1 or bigger with one of those red symbols next to them at that time, then they qualify. You can decide whether to take a price if you still have access to bookie accounts, whether you think the horse might be backed, or you can take Betfair starting price. You will see in the results that, kind of for fairness, I record both the early, generally available early price, the industry starting price, and Betfair starting price. Thankfully, touch wood, everything continues to fly along at Betfair starting price, which of course is a price that everyone should be able to achieve. Now you sometimes will back a horse which gets backed in. You'll back a horse at Betfair starting price that was available at 14s, maybe sent off for 7s or 6s. We've already in the past with some qualifiers have been available at, well, we had, let's say, take the jumps winner the other day at Stratford, summer jumps winner, drifted from kind of 8s, drifted to 14s at industry starting price, and I think 18, 19 to 1 Betfair starting price. It swings and roundabouts, it's hard to gauge really, but you should be confident that the profits are decent at Betfair starting price. You may increase on them by taking a price every now and then, letting others run, but it's pretty hard to judge when that may be the case. So if you don't want to torture yourself or worry about taking price and things, you can just stick with Betfair starting price. So yeah, when you look the evening before, if that is then and the only time you can look, if 10 to 1 or bigger they qualify, you can take a price or back them at Betfair starting price. The fact that they were 10 to 1 or bigger indicates that they were a qualifier. Now, for kind of fairness in how I record results, I base those qualifiers on taking a price when I can in the morning, kind of around 8, 9 a.m. And that is the price that I put next to the horse. So if that price there is 10 to 1 or bigger at the time on the first approach, then they definitely qualify. So we can see with Nottingham, is a ratings pointer horse. He's top 3 rated, GG Speed, was 22 to 1 or bigger generally. That qualifies, so you can place a bet there if you follow that strategy at Betfair starting price. This is of course on the flat, which as I've said is kind of wise to be cautious about at the moment, because I haven't pulled the stats together in a way like I have this year, especially with the split with 3-year-old and up handicaps and 4-year-old and older handicaps, and some of the micro angles mirror the jump stats pack, obviously with natural changes, differences where applicable, and they're a bit different from last year's one as well. And it's the first time I've tracked the flat stats through in live play, so yeah, treat them with some caution. But as I speak to you on the 12th of April, they've had a decent start to the season, and we've already had one ratings pointer win at 10 to 1 or bigger from a handful of selections, so that's kind of good. plus some other bigger price horses win as well. So that looks exciting moving forwards. But as I said, yes, so 10 to 1 or bigger, that price I put next to them. Now I generally, I'm recording this at kind of 10:30, but I take a price, for me it has to be available with a couple of bookmakers. I'm generally looking at Bet365, William Hill, Betfred, BetVictor, Paddy Power, Stan James, not necessarily Ladbrokes when I look, because I'm not sure if they're best odds guaranteed early in the morning, are they? Anyway, I take a temperature check. I don't really use Coral because they won't let me have more than about 25p on something, and I haven't bet with them for ages now, probably over a year. Maybe I should try again. And I don't really take account of Betfair Sportsbook too much either, because they've restricted me as well. But yeah, anyway, I take what I think is a fair temperature check of the price, which I think is generally available. But when you look in the evening, there's no kind of right or wrong. If 10 to 1's available with one or two bookmakers, then it will qualify at that point for you, because that's the time that you can look. There have been winners at 10 to 1 or bigger that haven't officially been declared, because they were 10 to 1. I know they were 10 to 1 or bigger the evening before. When I came to record the price, the horse had been well backed and was kind of 8-7 to 1 and kept coming in, so it actually never became a ratings point to 10 to 1 or bigger qualifier. Yeah, I know there's been a few in the past that some of you have backed and profited from. So yeah, it'll all even out over time, and actually by looking the evening before, you may do even better. But like I said, for me to record results, the kind of price that's available in the morning is more of a fair reflection, because prices can tumble pretty quickly the evening before. And I know if some people might be looking at 9 p.m. say, and a horse might not qualify, when someone looked at kind of 5:30, 6, a horse may have been 10 to 1 but then was kind of hammered in. And it doesn't take much money the evening before sometimes for prices to shift. So I take a price in the morning, that's the one put next to the horse, and that indicates whether a horse at that point qualifies on being 10 to 1 or bigger. And like I said, you can decide to place the bet then, place it Betfair starting price or whatever. We then have the other side of the 10 to 1 or plus approach and capturing them, and that is if they drift. And that is when they were shorter than 10 to 1 in the morning. So there's a good example here. Kajak, however we want to say that, for Kevin Ryan. Horse race base top 3, 7 to 1, so he isn't 10 to 1 at the morning. So on that kind of part 1 of the two-pronged approach, he doesn't qualify, but he might drift to 10 to 1 or bigger come the start of the race, and we capture him if he does. And Perfect Quest was an example of that for Clive Cox the other day. Was kind of 7-8 to 1 but drifted come the off into 10 to 1 or bigger qualifying range. There's a chance he might drift, and at that point we go over to Betfair starting price. So hopefully you can see that screen. Make sure you're on the exchange. You can see here in the top left hand corner of the video there's the sportsbook option, which I've just clicked on there. That's not the one I want. We want the exchange, so make sure you're on Betfair exchange. Always takes so long to load when I'm recording a video. We'll get there. So yeah, you're on the Betfair exchange. What race do we want? It's the 2:30 at Catterick, so I want to get onto horse racing. Come on. And where are we? 2:30. So hopefully you can see the market in front of you when it loads. You'll see there that I've already got £5 on Kajak to be matched, but let's go back to that. And I did throw some money at the Appleby one because he's going to be a big price, but he's drifting, and I think that's a £5 I will never see again. Anyway, we have, so if you're approaching this race cold, from the start, you can see the market there. Now, firstly we need to tick this Betfair SP box, which is at the top here. Hopefully you can see that. So tick that, and that brings up the backing to SP options, or laying to SP. we're interested in backing. So I click that, and this is where, so to capture those drifters, obviously if you're betting on this and a horse is already qualified on the 10-to-1 plus angle, you can just put your stake in straight away and that will back at Betfair SP regardless. I only want to back Kajaki if he is 10-to-1 or bigger, and of course we're using decimal odds, so you need to tick this box here. Hopefully you can see that starting price, the black strip at the top, set SP odds limit. Tick that box and that means you can set a minimum odds to Betfair starting price. We want 10-to-1, remember these are decimal odds, so that is 11. Is 10-to-1 or bigger, you can put in your stake and you can place the bet by clicking the place bets yellow button there. Now that bet will only be placed if Kajaki is sent off at 10-to-1 or 11.0-to-1 or bigger, and you will get whatever price it is above that, if that is his starting price. So if his starting price is 11 to or bigger, that will place the bet and he will qualify on the ratings pointers 10-to-1 plus angle. And as simple as that. Hopefully that's straightforward. So that's the two twinned approach. When a horse is 10-to-1 or bigger with the price that I put down in the morning, they automatically qualify. Or as I said, when you look at a time that is appropriate for you, it will all even itself out over time. And as I said, you may actually do even better or find the odd other winner by looking the evening before. And or the horse drifts when he isn't yet 10-to-1, but he may go off at 10-to-1 or bigger, and we can use Betfair starting price and a minimum odds feature to capture that. And that is what the results are based on for ratings pointers 10-to-1 or bigger to date. So I hope that's clear. For me, 11 minutes is quite a short video, so with that said, I think that covers everything. Obviously any questions, post them below this video and I will do my best to answer them, but hopefully for those of you who are not clear on that particular strategy or how to place the bets, that may help, and I will leave that there. So thanks for watching, and until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now.